So this is an introduction to using QuickBooks for rental properties, for multifamily properties. I had tried this upload before and YouTube identified it as a duplicate, which it was not, so I'm adding this introductory piece. So now that I explained to you how to set up multifamily accounting through QuickBooks, I know it's difficult sometimes to follow it when you're just being told how to do it, so I wanted to do a short video on showing you exactly how to set it up using QuickBooks. Okay, so first thing you want to do is make sure you're on the home page. We want to start there. If for some reason when you open QuickBooks it's not on the home page, you could see over here, you click home and it'll bring you to this screen. All right, so we want to set up the building. So remember how I told you you had to set up the building. The first thing you do is go under customers, customer center. So each building is a customer. You see here I've already set up a few of them. I'm going to do one more for you to show you what it looks like. All right, so we want to do new customer. Under new customer, we're going to do 50 Park Street. All right, so now 50 Park Street shows up. Now what we want to do is put apartments in that building. Apartments become jobs, and you can use a person's name, you could use an apartment number. I like to keep it simple, just use the apartment number or identify the apartment as opposed to worrying about who's in there. Especially if you only got 15 or 20 units, you probably know everybody and who's in there. And to put somebody in there, and then if they move out, you got to put somebody else in there. So I just do apartment identification. So apartment A will be the first one in Park Street. You can see we're under customer Park Street here on the right. Okay. So now apartment A shows up here. Let's add another one. We go to add job. You could do this as multiple jobs as well. So let's add apartment B. Now here's where you got to be careful if you're doing this the way I'm doing it. It's going to show apartment B under apartment A if you're not careful. So you've got to go in and make sure that your customer is just Park Street and add apartment B. All right, let's add one more apartment. We're going to call that one, guess what? Apartment C. And again, we go over here, let's correct this under Park Street. Okay. All right. So now we have our apartment set up with three units. So now we're going to go. I had mentioned to you that you should use the class system, and the reason being with the class system, you could tell building by building if you're making money or losing money and exactly how much you're making or losing. So we want to set up Park Street as a class, and every income item and every expense item that is for Park Street, we are going to classify as Park Street. So let's look at our lists. We go to class lists. I've already got some set up here, but we're going to add one. Go to the lower left, new, and up here, Park Street. Okay. Okay, so now Park Street shows up as a class. So let's enter some transactions now. Let's see what we've got for banking. I think I already set up Park Street as a and you could, we could go in and edit this and call it 50 Park Street if we want. Okay. So let's do some transactions. Let's see what we've got in banking. If I already set up a checking account for it. That's another thing we can talk about. In this particular instance, I set up a checking account for each building. So I do not have Park Street in here. Let's go and set it up. All right, so we go under Company, Chart of Accounts. Go down in the lower left, you'll see Account and New. Bank, you check off Bank, Continue. And we're going to call this checking account 50 Park Street. That's a sub account. Now what I did is I put all the checking accounts under checking accounts so that when I do my balance sheet it shows up and totals them all up. Alright, so we're going to close that out and we're going to go close this down, go to the banking. We want to make sure we use the register for 50 Park Street. Okay, so obviously there's nothing in here yet. So the first thing we want to do is collect the rent. We're going to make a deposit. We're going to call it Apartment A, Park Street. Deposit. Let's say the guy pays $800. And the account, we come down here to the account, and it is income account, rental income. Now watch what happens. In order to classify this with a class, you have to go to split, so that over here on the right you see where class shows up. But I'm going to show you something. We've got the account, the amount, and I'm going to just try to record this. If you went to the income statement, it would show up as unclassified. Okay, so what we want to do is go back in here and split that. Oops, sorry guys. All right, so here's, I'm sorry, here's the $800 for the rent. We're over here with class, and there's 50 Park Street. So now we record that. Let's do another one. We'll make a deposit. I got my fingers on the wrong thing here. Deposit. 50 Park. Let's do Apartment B. Let's say they pay $1,000. The account again is going to be rental income. We're going to go down here and split so we can give it a class identification, 50 Park Street, and record that. So now let's do a couple of checks. We're going to just keep check number 1. I put some of these vendors in earlier. Brown Lawn Service. Let's say he charged $500. Repair and maintenance. Let's make sure we classify it, and the class is going to be 50 Park. Alright, we're going to record that. Let's say we're going to do leak or roof. Repairs and maintenance is the item again. Let's say the roof was $8,500. Repairs and maintenance. Whoops, we want to go back, split it, class, 50 Park, and record. Let's do another one. Deposit. Let's get that deposit from that last guy. Apartment C. Let's say he's paying $1,500. rental. This takes some patience, folks. So that I want to do this so that you see the result at the end. Okay, so here we've got 50 Park. We want apartment C. Let's split so we can record the class. 50 Park, record. All right, now let's go to reports, and we'll go to company financial, profit and loss. Let's go up here and make sure we have all of the time included. All right, we're going to start January 1st, refresh. So this is, we lost $39.45 on this because of the because we spent a lot more money than what we brought in, and we only recorded 1 month of that. Now, this is the profit and loss for the entire business. Okay, now we go back to reports and we look at the company financial. We go to profit and loss, and profit and loss by class is what's going to show you what happened by each building. So now we've got January to December, profit and loss by class. You see the name of the class up here, which is the building. We have 123 Main, 25 Maple, 456 Main, 50 Park, and unclassified. So every entry I made was classified, so we don't have to worry about that. And if you want to know the income and expenses for each building, it's right here. So the net income for 123 Main was 300, 25 Maple made 925, 456 Main made 530, and what we just entered, 50 Park Street, was a deficit of 5,700 for a total of minus 39.45. So if we go back to the profit and loss here for the entire amount, we see that it's 39.45. Okay, so that's how you handle entering multifamilies, and that will help you determine every single building's profit and loss if you enter the information correctly. Now, if you don't do this yourself, and you have a bookkeeper or an accountant that does it, and you've got several buildings, 5, 6, 7 buildings, you should make sure they set up your accounting system this way. It gives you so much more information than just the standard like you're seeing on the screen now, than just a standard total profit and loss. Okay, so now, like I said too earlier, we can work on, we could talk about the checking accounts, because I do have another idea for checking accounts that is less cumbersome than going into each building's checking account to record your income and disbursements. So we can talk about that now, and I'll give you some other ideas. But this is the way you should set up your accounting system. All right, you get the building under customers. Under the job, you put in the apartment names, and then make sure you set up your class. Okay, you go to the company in the list and add the class that you want, and also make sure your preferences show that you can use the class system. So I hope this has helped. We can talk about it some more, and whatever you need to ask me, let's kick it around, and let's talk more about how, because I set up individual checking accounts by building, which some people do, I think there's another way of doing it, and we can discuss it. Okay, so thanks a lot, guys, and I hope this helps you, because I think this is a great system, and if you outgrow it, that means you're doing really well. So thank you. Let's move on.